Welcome. This is Open to Hope Television with your hosts, Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi Horsley. This show is brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation with a mission of helping people find hope after loss. An empty chair at the Thanksgiving table, a Christmas gift left unopened, no one to kiss at midnight on New Year's Eve, a hole in your heart that may never heal. The holidays are supposed to be a time of celebration, family, and laughter. But when you lose someone you love, the holidays can become a cruel reminder of what you no longer have. How can you commemorate their spirit and still find joy? Is it possible to still have a happy holiday? And now, Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi.
Welcome to our show today, the Open to Hope Show. Well, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria, and this is my daughter, Dr. Heidi.
Hi, Mom.
It's great to have you on the show today, Heidi, and to be able to do this show. We really appreciate the Mid-Peninsula Media Center, Public Access, for letting us do this show, because without public access, we wouldn't be able to bring this message. It's a very hard message to bring a message of hope down during the holidays for you. You know, I always say, geez, I just want to, pull the covers over my head and go to sleep and not deal with this. After my son was killed, I really didn't want to deal with it. And what do you say, Heidi?
I say, that's fine to feel that way, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, actually, a lot of times you still have children in your lives and children in your family. And the reality is, when I work with kids all the time, the thing that I hear most is we still want to have holidays. We want to have Christmas and Hanukkah and Thanksgiving, and we want to have normal celebrations. And the reality is, as we know, Mom, your life isn't normal again, but we have to learn to create a new normal and keep celebrating the holidays, even if it's painful, for the children that are still here in our lives.
Absolutely, and other family members, and letting people know that life does go on. And that's one of the things we want to bring to you today. We just got a great show. I can't tell you, we've got a fabulous studio audience here today supporting us. We've got the Mid-Pen, and we've got people that are coming on from Pathways, which is a hospice. Chris Tetch is going to be on with us, and we've got people coming on from Filoli, which is a wonderful landmark building that we have, a mansion in Menlo Park, and they're going to show you how you can design things. And we've got Darcie Sims coming on, who is really a wonderful person about grief and loss. And then we've got some darling girls who are going to sing for us from the high school. And one of them has had a loss of a sister, and we're going to dedicate the music to her. So, Heidi, it's just going to be a great show.
Yes, I'm really excited. And like you said, we've got great guests. And The Heartbeats is the name of the girls that are going to sing. And Darcie, who we'll bring on a little later, speaks all over the world. And basically what we really want to talk today about is how people transform their lives after loss, and how you can have hope again after loss, even though right now many of you may feel like it's not possible.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started, Heidi.
Yes.
And we've got Chris right here. And welcome to our show, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Chris.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And you're with Pathways Hospice?
Yes, Pathways Home Health and Hospice. We
Uh-huh.
serve 5 Bay Area counties here, and they have a huge commitment to bereavement services, and I'm the director of bereavement services there.
Great. Well, could you give our audience out there today some tips about family and the holidays? It's tough.
It is a very difficult time, and I do think one of the most important things we can recommend and we support families in doing is setting time aside to have a conversation with your family members, to take the time to really talk with them. And I want to give a few guidelines and a little bit of a framework for doing that.
Great.
So some of the guidelines are, as you well know, grief is exhausting. It
For sure.
sucks the energy out of you. People are depleted and have very little energy. So be realistic as you're looking at the holidays and what you can and can't do. And this is a time to ask family members and others to help and support you at that time.
I love that. And you can even ask people to go help buy presents for your kids, or take them to a special activity, or,
Absolutely.
and kind of team people up.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, Chris, there's certain things that we'll be able to do, and there's certain things we might not be able to do.
It's exactly right. And to remember that every family member has a unique experience in their grief and loss. As you said, children sometimes want to celebrate. Not always. Sometimes they don't want to do all the things you previously did. Every family member needs to be able to talk freely about that, and those differences need to be respected and honored in some way. And then there is, the reality that there is no right or perfect way to do this. And just to know that going into it, because the reality is you're suffering, feelings are raw, it's a difficult time, but you can go into it knowing that you're going to do the best you can and bring along anybody you can, asking them to help support you through the process. And I think we have to remember that it's hard for people to know how to support you at that time. They're afraid of bringing up the loved one that you lost. They're afraid of upsetting you. You have to actually guide them a little bit. You actually have to give them some instruction of what you want to do and how you want to bring that memory forward, how you want that person to be alive during your holiday season.
And you know, we want to hear the name, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. This is such an important point, Mom. And because what I hear all the time from people is, you know, I went to a holiday event and no one said my loved one's name.
Absolutely.
They acted like if they didn't say it, that I'd forget that that person that I love died. And so, like you said, sometimes we have to teach people to be good grief support.
Right.
We need to say, look, it's important that you bring up my brother Scott's name. Could you say a toast in his honor? So asking people for what we need is so important.
Yeah, and you can even set it up with a relative. Would you give a toast to Scott before? And people are so disappointed when they get to the holiday events and nobody says anything. You know, so
it's a
you know,
huge loss. It's like another loss if the community doesn't know how to bring it up. But they're frightened, they're afraid of upsetting. So you're right. To invite them into it, to give them a role is really helpful. They want to be able to do it. They just don't know how.
And you know what I also like to say to people is tell people at the holiday table that if you have a moment where you need to get up and leave the table for a few minutes, don't come and get me. I mean, if you don't want them to do that. I mean, sometimes you got to go collect yourself. And you know, people don't care. They're just worried about you if you're not there. But if you say, you know, I may have to leave the table for a few minutes. Don't worry, don't come and get me. It's okay.
And I think that's really important to remind people. I may cry when you talk about them, but that's okay. I want to still talk about them, even if it makes me cry. But you also end up, anybody that does this, we end up having a lot of laughter too, because incredible stories come forward and people end up having some laughter and fun as they talk about them too. And both have to exist and both have to be okay.
And I'm always telling people that have children, kids love to hear the memories of how their loved ones lived. They enjoy that. They like that. So to talk about their fathers that died or their siblings that died, children really like that.
So I want to give a quick framework. So you know all the different components that come up in the holiday, and every family has their unique components, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you're celebrating. But there's often gift buying. There is decorating. There is the holiday events and dinners. There are a number of other components that your family has to decide, well, like the holiday letter, if your family does that. These are things that, traditions that your family may or may not have, and you have to decide, every family member needs to look and say, this is a tradition I want to bring forward, or exactly as it was, or do I want to do something different, or we don't want to bring that tradition forward. So you kind of look at that decision point, and then I invite you to, as they've been talking about, to find a way to meaningfully bring that person forward in any of those traditions you do decide to bring forward, like making a toast at the dinner table, or as I have an example here of creating with families, with the children, some kind of activity. It's a candle that you can light.
I love that.
And
I love that.
Yeah,
these
are
were
great.
done by
Really
families in our
cute.
Heartful Memories program at hospice, and they gave me extra copies. They made some so that I could share them with other families as examples. And these are obviously made by young children. These were made by teens. This was one made by a child that died, a young woman who loved horses in particular and dogs, and they made this in her honor, and they light it at many events, but in particularly around the holidays, it's a focal point that they remember in her honor. And this was actually designed for children in honor of their mother who had died.
Oh, that's so sweet. With your mother must have liked jewelry. Fabulous. You know, the thing about this is that you can do too is we recommend that you can light this candle before you go to other dinners or whatever, where you're afraid they're not going to mention it. Have your own little ceremony so you know you kind of feel like you've done it. I mean, you may be going to some big sing-along where you know you can't do it, but have your own little ceremony.
Right.
And light
So
your
always remember,
candle
you can
before.
do it privately or publicly.
And the thing I like about things like candles is if you don't even have to say any, you don't even have to talk. You don't have to have words. You can just light the candle, put it in the front hall, and the family all knows it's to pay tribute to the person that's died.
So I wanted to give an example of families that make different choices and different decisions at the holidays. So I was working with a family whose son, 11-year-old son, had died on our hospice service. And they had younger children. They had a 6- and a 2-year-old. And of course, they wanted to find some way to bring the holiday forward for their younger children. But she was too overwhelmed with grief, could not bear to open up the Christmas ornaments that had many of his handmade ornaments that they'd put up every year previous. So after a conversation with the family and talking with them, they came up with the idea of just going out and buying some blue bulbs and some tinsel and letting the girls go to town and decorate the tree, and that they would reserve opening up those ornaments for another year when they were better prepared to deal with that emotional experience.
I like that.
And it was really delightful,
Yeah.
and they felt like that worked.
I like that because I think one of the hardest things at Christmas for me initially, after my brother died, was opening the green bulb that he had made that said Scott across it. I mean, it was such a reminder that, wow, he's not here this year.
But I want to give a contrast, though, to another family I worked with who decided that was the most meaningful thing they wanted to do. They wanted to pull out all those decorations and ornaments, and they hung those up on the tree. They cried and they laughed as they went through them. That was meaningful.
That's great. Well, Heidi, I think we've got, let's take a question from our audience.
Okay.
Great to have a studio audience here, you know.
Very good. Okay. Your name?
I'm Chantal, and you mentioned getting the family together to discuss how you're going to spend the holidays.
Can you raise your voice a little bit,
What do you
Chantal?
do? What do you do when there's conflict and there are disagreements about what are we going to do? Some people may say, I want to get out all the ornaments, and the other people may say, I can't deal with that right now.
So conflict and disagreement.
That is actually very common. Is any of you that live in a family setting know that this is common? Not everyone's going to agree. But what you do is you honor and respect and try to find a way to allow both to happen. So the people that need to have an ornament open, perhaps maybe one or two could be put out in a special place, maybe in their room. And for those that didn't, they could have another space where they don't decorate. So like for even decorating, some may say, I don't want to have decorations around, it's too much. They could designate one place in the home where there could be decorations and another space where there isn't. So to try to respect and honor people's needs as much as they can.
You know, you do have to be a little bit careful out there because sometimes people just really do want to not deal with Christmas at all or Hanukkah or whatever and get out the items. But you might want to think about that a little bit because, you know, you delay it and you got to do it the year after. So, you know, that first year is tough to live. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Chris, and thank you for all the work you're doing with Pathways and the families, and I hope that you and I and Heidi and everybody will be able to connect up again.
I'd love it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, it was great having Chris on and hearing about these ideas that she had, and the hospice programs are so great and the way they help people. And next we're going to have our singers from Palo Alto High School, and Heidi's going to be interviewing them. Go ahead, Heidi.
Okay, today here on the show we have 4 singers, 4 teenage girls, and they are from Palo Alto High School, and they are called the Heartbeats, right girls? The Heartbeats. Yes, and they are going to sing today for us some holiday tunes, and these girls are so near and dear to my heart because one of them, I'm going to introduce them in a minute, one of them who is right here, her name is Isabel. Her sister Emily, who she was very, very close to, died in May, and it's so near and dear to my heart because, as Isabel knows, I know how devastating it is to lose a brother or a sister. And these girls are going to sing in tribute and in honor of Emily. And God bless you guys. I'm so excited to have you. So why don't we quickly go around and introduce you, or you can introduce yourselves, but then we can hear from you.
My name is Sarah.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Isabel.
And I'm Hannah.
Very good, thank you. Okay, and like I said, even though our siblings are gone, they live forever in our heart. And Emily, this is for you.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Make the Yuletide from now on. Our troubles will be miles away, miles away. Here we are as in olden days, golden days. near us once more. Through the years we all will be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
How great. Isn't that great, Heidi, having those girls on the show? And
It's
how
amazing.
touching.
It is amazing. I mean, music brings us to such a deep level.
Absolutely, and can help us during the holidays. And you know, you might make your kind of happy tape, and then you might make your sad tape too, that you can listen to. Crying and laughing and smiling are all going to come together. And Heidi, I wanted to remind people about our book. We have a book called Open to Hope, Handling the Holidays, and you can get it on from our website, Open to Hope. It's 25 stories of people who have dealt with the holidays after loss and have gone on to do transformational things. Quite amazing. Well, Heidi, we have a guest on our show today that I'm so excited about.
Yes, Dr. Darcie Sims, and we love Darcie because she is a true example of how someone has transformed their life and found hope after loss. She is such a positive person despite the fact that she is a bereaved parent and lost her own son. And she goes all over the country and speaks, and she brings down the house. You'll be laughing, you'll be crying, and you'll honestly believe and know after you hear her that you can find hope and joy again.
Absolutely. Well, let's go.
Okay.
Welcome to Darcie. Hi, Dar.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
so great to have you on the show.
Thanks for letting me come. Thank you so much.
All the
And thanks
way.
for that wonderful introduction. I don't know who that is, but thank you.
I don't know. What was it you said after she spoke at a conference with Joe Biden?
I said, Dr. Darcie brings down the house, always, even when she follows the vice president. She really does. Thanks a lot. She really does.
Well, Darcie, it's so great to have you come in and talk about the holidays, because I know you do a lot of this, and you've published things on it, and you've talked about it, and it's a tough time, isn't it?
It is a tough time. I mean, the holidays are here, and I'm not even ready. And the holidays have been here since long before Halloween. I'm picking out trick-or-treat candy, and they're laying out Hanukkah and Christmas, and I know that if I don't hurry, it'll be Valentine's Day pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, have you got some tips for people on dealing with this?
I do, and I love listening to Chris, and I wanted to follow up a little bit. You know, she talked about families, and families are made up of individual people, and that's the trouble. If we would all just do it the same way, it would have been so much easier. And if I did try to organize my family around how I needed it done, and as much as I was the mother, they still did it their way. And I began to think about, you know, we are so individual, and it occurred to me that there are snowflakes, and there are gazillion snowflakes, and every single one of them is different. So every single one of us is different. And I want us to be able to honor that uniqueness, to know that what works for someone else at the table might not work for me, and what works for them may be the worst thing for me. So to honor our own uniqueness, to respect each other, and maybe give ourselves the gift of tolerance this year, tolerating each other and knowing we're trying the best we can in any way we can to get through this.
I love that. And I would love having snowflakes around the table and having that conversation and having each person have theirs.
Absolutely.
What a great idea. Yeah. All those rituals are so good. Have you got some more tips for us on that?
I do. You know what? Let's go shopping.
Okay.
Shopping is absolutely wonderful. We call it retail therapy or charge card therapy. And sometimes we just need a treat for ourselves. Yeah. So I want us to go shopping and buy a little something for us. But I don't want you to take any money. I want you to take a credit card.
Okay.
But not your credit card.
Oh, that works even more.
Damn.
It is even worse. So whose credit card are we going to take?
Yeah.
Do you remember all those people at the funeral who came up to us and said, if there's anything I can ever do for you,
call me.
Absolutely. So we're going to call them up and say, I just need your Visa
We're
card.
actually going to call them?
Why not? And just say, you know, you told me I could have the Visa card. And they're going, I didn't tell you that. I will promise you they'll never say that again to any other bereaved person. But I do want us to go shopping.
Okay.
And I don't want you to take any. I would say $5. I used to say 5. You better take 10 now. 5 isn't going to get us anything.
Okay.
No credit cards. Just take a $10 bill. And I want you to go buy a gift for your loved one.
Oh, I love
I
that.
want you to go present.
I have
And
chills.
the first time I heard that, I went, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I couldn't imagine walking into Toys R Us to buy a present for our son. But the people who'd suggested it to me were a little farther down the path. So I thought, you know, the nice thing about being bereaved is if it doesn't work, stop. You can always say, that's not working for
Right.
me.
I'm not going to do it.
So my husband and I, we talked about it, and he said, no, I don't want to do that. And I said, well, we're going to try. And if it doesn't work out, we'll quit. So we proceeded to drive over to Toys R Us. Well, in the meantime, we had one of the world's largest arguments because he wanted to buy a toy for the age our son would have been that year. I wanted to buy a toy for the age Big A was when he died. And Big Sister in the back seat leaned over and said, if my brother was alive, he would want me to have the Barbie dream house. And I said, if your brother was alive, he probably would have smashed the Barbie dream house. So you come with me. And we were still arguing as we walked into the store. And I finally just looked at my husband and I said, okay, just go. Go do it your way. Exactly. Go do it your way.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do this together. I bought the myth that we would hold hands and we would go down this path together. And you know what? That's a myth. We are so individual. We will do it our own way. And I watched him go and I thought, okay, do what you need to do. And Allie and I went in another direction. We came back to the cash register about 20 minutes later, and Tony had a gift for the age our son would have been that year. And I had a gift for the age he was when he died. And Allie did not have the Barbie dream house.
And he was 1 when he died, right?
He was 1.5.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
he would have smashed
died
the
of a
Barbie
brain
dream
tumor.
house. Yes,
Yeah.
he died of a brain tumor. And I want you to take that gift home. And I want you to wrap it in the most incredible wrapping paper you can find. Just the most beautiful thing you can do. Put a big bow on it, whatever you want to do. Then on the gift tag, I want you to write boy or girl, man, woman, and an age range. So if you're doing this for your wife, remember all wives are 29. And that's where we stop aging. But little boy, age 5 to 6, girl, 14, 15. And then I want you to take that gift and I want you to give it to someone who can hand that gift to someone who might not be getting a gift this year. And when we were there, in this very first time we were doing it, I was with a group of other people, and we met in a church. We had our little support group in a church. So we had asked the pastor of that church to help us find a group who needed these presents. So we were going to put all our presents on the table, and then he would take them and he would distribute them. And as I put this beautifully wrapped gift down on the table, I realized that I was a mother who no longer had a child to give a gift to, handing a gift to a child who didn't have a mother to receive one from. And I will tell you, too, that in that moment of putting that gift on the table, the circle of love that I thought had been forever broken was mended just like that.
Wow.
When you take love and pass it on and share it, we cannot lose that love. Our loved ones die, but we don't lose them. They are right here, right now. They're a part of us. They're a thread in the fabric. And when you take that love and that joy that we have shared and pass it on, wow.
That's powerful.
That is really powerful.
You are inspiring me this year because I have a place called Covenant House not far from us in New York, and I am going to buy something for a teenager, for a 17-year-old boy. My cousin died with my brother also, and he was 17. I'm going to buy 2 gifts, and I'm going to walk them over to Covenant House. I love that story.
I love it because you want to shop for that
Yes,
child, or
yes.
that if
That's
you're
it.
married, like you said, with a spouse, you want to shop for your wife or husband who have died, or your family
Absolutely.
member,
Absolutely.
and you can actually buy something for them.
Yeah.
You can buy something special that you really wanted to give them.
But just keep it at
Yeah.
$10.
Yes,
As
I
you
like
don't-
that.
Well,
I was already going for the car.
I know you were. Well, and I asked my husband, because we do this every year now, and
love
Big
it.
A died 36 years ago, so we've got 36 holidays under
Yeah.
our belt. And I asked him, as Big A would have gotten older, I said, you know, he's going to be a teenager soon, and then he's going to be a young man. You going to buy him a car? And he said, no, but perhaps a car accessory. But we do it every year, and now
That's
our
great.
granddaughter, who never met her uncle,
Oh, I love
is
it.
a part of that, and she's there helping select that gift. It just is a way of saying, Big A, you're still here,
Yep.
and I want the universe to know that love. And when you give a gift and give it away, It's fabulous.
But you know, the other thing I was thinking that it does, Darcie, it reminds me of what age they are this year and what they'd be doing and you know, what you think they'd like. And it's like lighting the candle to remember or giving a toast before a party or whatever. It's just, it becomes...
And also that Big A is still impacting people's lives.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
We don't lose them. They die, but we don't lose them.
It transforms.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Well, Darcie, you've got some more tips for us. I love
Well,
these.
I have one more tip, one of my favorites. I want you two to sit here with me for a minute, and I want you to think, we're talking about gifts. I want you to think of a gift that Scott gave to you. And I'm not talking a gift that you unwrapped and went, whoa, what's that? Thank you. I'm not talking about a tangible gift.
Okay.
I'm talking about a gift to the spirit, the gift to the soul, if you would. I want you to think about something that you received from him because he walked into your life, because he was a part of your everyday life. And I want you to think of that right now. And as you're thinking of it, and I want everyone in the audience to think about that, I want you to think of one gift that you have, that you received. So let me give you an example. Did you guys ever laugh when he was alive?
All the time. In fact, that's what I was thinking about. Humor.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How wonderful. The stories, that's what I missed the most when Big A died, were the giggles and the laughter. And I had to go get it back. But what a gift. So as you think of that gift, I want you to get out a little piece of paper, don't have to be a big one, and I want you to write it down on this little piece of paper. And maybe you'll think of another one. Were they your best friend? Were they your companion? Did you get courage from them? Did you get compassion from them? Did you get aggravation from them? Of course, yes, we did. We did get aggravation. And I want you to make these little strips of paper, and I want you to put a gift on every single one. Then I want you to get a box. If we're wrapping presents, you've got a box. I have a little box because I travel a lot. I get a big box. Get a refrigerator box.
Little box.
This is a little box. It's not the size of the box. It's not the size of the box. But you know, we look at the holidays and we think, ooh, they're empty. And I don't want any gifts and there's nothing I want. Well, yes, there is. There's one thing I want and we can't have that.
Right, for sure.
But I want you to get a box. Any size will do. And then I want you to put those little strips of paper in this box. And then I want you to put this box and close it up. And I want you to put this box someplace very special. Some people put it on their nightstand. Some people put it on their fireplace mantle. If you come to our house, it's on our dining room table 365 days a year. It's there every single day. And when you're having a particularly tough moment this holiday season or any season of your grief, I want you to creep down the stairs or search in the dark for it. And I want you to find this little box. I mean, it's just a little plain old box. And I want you to open it up. And when you pull out those sheets of paper, those little tiny strips of paper, and I want you to read them one at a time. You and I sit and make lists of all the things we will never know and all the things that we have lost. We never forget those things, but I think we forget sometimes that our loved one lived and gave us the gift of their presence. And so when you put little strips of paper in this box, I mean, it's not even expensive to do, this becomes our blessing box.
Oh, I like that.
Filled with the
nice.
blessings of this person's life so that I never forget that they lived and we loved them and we still do. So get a box.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, Darcie, this is making my wheels turn. I'm thinking you could have everyone in the family make their little boxes, but you could also make boxes for all the living siblings, if it was a sibling that died, and the one that died. And so everybody had their little boxes with little strips in them.
Absolutely.
I love this. Heidi never forgets the living sibling.
I don't.
I hope not, because she's a living sibling.
We're still here. We're still here.
Make us a little box.
Yes, so make it for
Absolutely.
everybody and then share it together. I love that idea.
The first holiday when we had that horrible empty chair, I put a little box at each table place and little strips of paper and a pen, and I asked everyone at the table to go around the table and say one blessing that they had received from my son.
I love that.
And then as other people in our family have died, we've added to that. And we keep our blessing box right there on the table to remind us of the life and the love, not just the death.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I'm thinking about the blessing box, but with Facebook, Darcie, it has been so fascinating. Scott died in 1983, and we have people now, because of Facebook, are telling us stories, and I'm thinking of stories for the blessing box.
Yes.
It's just kind of an amazing thing
That we've
All
never
of a
heard
sudden,
before.
We had never heard before. Somebody even made a YouTube.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, recently until this event.
But I think part of that is that we teach people to be good grief support by our actions. So if we put up pictures or memories or something on Facebook that says, Scott is forever in my heart and I miss him today, people will respond and think, okay, wait a minute, it's okay for me to respond to this. And so teaching people that it's okay. Like you said, we want to remember the way they lived.
And leave the scrapbook out on the table. Don't hide it away. As people come to your house, they'll thumb through it, and all of a sudden there's a story coming. Those are gifts to us. If you're holding a memory of someone, give it back this holiday season. Pull the picture out of the scrapbook, make a copy of it, write the story you're thinking of, wrap it up, and give it back to me. I'm hungry for the stories of my loved ones. And what a treasure when you give me back a memory.
Absolutely. Well, let me say for our audience out there and for the people out in TV land, you're going to lose some friends. There are people who are not going to like what you're doing. They're not going to like the Facebook. They're not going to like the story. They're not going to like the box. They're not going to like any of this. But and there will be people that will disappear in your life, and it's really hard for teenagers and kids to have that happen. But then again, there are people that will come into your life that are amazing and wonderful, and so be open this holiday season to all of it because it's amazing.
And that's probably the best advice at all. Be open.
Yeah.
Don't expect a whole lot. Don't demand anything. The only thing you have to do is keep breathing.
Yeah, I like that's right.
Sometimes feels optional.
Let's all breathe, people.
Breathe in.
Breathe.
And
I always
out.
say breathe and drink water. I mean, those
but not
may
at the
sound
same time.
silly. That's right. But one thing I want to say also to you folks out there, if you're not going to do your traditional things this year, tell people now. Tell them now, because they're not going to like it when you don't come to the Christmas dinner the time you were supposed to or what. They're going to be mad anyway. If you're going to change it and you've decided to do it, give people forewarning. Don't you think, Darcie?
I think so. And if you get those invitations that always come, we really want you to come to Thanksgiving, but you're not going to cry, are you? You're going, no, it'll be a short visit then. You might say, I'd love to come. Thank you so much for the invitation. May I take a rain check? Or could I call you the day of, because it might be a good day for me, and it might not be.
Yeah, that's a great morning.
But you could always ask them to send a plate over.
Right. That's true.
Even if you're grieving, we're still hungry.
That's right. Well, let's take some questions from the audience.
Okay,
I think
let's see what we got.
You want to go out and do that, Heidi?
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
Got some questions out there? There's one back there.
The two of us go to the Compassionate Friends, where we have received a lot of support for our loss. But I have a problem when I see everybody shopping, and my son should be a grandfather, a father now, and I should be a grandmother. But it was all cut short. And so I'm so jealous when I see all these darling children.
Totally understandable. My heart goes out to you.
So, Darcie, have you got a comment for her? What do we do about that jealousy? And
let's just acknowledge that we're jealous, and then I want you to go buy a present and wrap it up and give it away. Some communities have what they call angel trees in the mall, and their names on them of children who are underprivileged and who need things. You could adopt a child. You won't know that child, but you can have the joy and the pleasure of buying a gift and being able to give it away and know that you're still sharing your son's love with everybody else. Take it slow. Take your time. Maybe you don't get a gift the first time you go out, but give it a try. Give it a try.
Absolutely. And please tell us what his name is.
Ryan, he died at the age of 31.
Thank you. And thank you, Ryan. And thank you for coming and sharing that with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So do we have another question? I think we have one back there.
Where?
Right there from Benatar's, right? Do you want to stand up? Our crew are wanting you to stand up so they can see you.
Okay, so your name?
I'm Daryl Benatar, yeah. I'm just curious, my daughter was 19 when she passed away, and she has a Facebook account where it's still active, and people send her messages, and I'm just kind of, at a loss of, whether that's her Facebook account is something that, we should try and help kind of live on and be a place for people to remember her, or I don't know what happens now with that. I don't know if that's something you've encountered yet. I mean,
I've certainly encountered it because my brother died last year, and I just got a thing, happy birthday, you know, and the family has left it. It's a real question what we do about it, and I think it's a personal thing to me.
I mean,
and what's
people
your
actually still text her messages and leave phone messages for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to contact Facebook if you want them to bring that down. So you have to think about that. But what's your thought on it, Darcie? And maybe you're enjoying it now. You know, there are people who leave their kids' voices on the answering machine. My brother-in-law, who I said just died, that I got this message that is his birthday. He died 6 months ago. My brother actually, and I called my sister-in-law to wish her happy Thanksgiving, and his voice is on the voicemail. So you know.
Absolutely. We're all so individual that, and you may not even agree with the rest of your family. If you take pleasure in it, absolutely. What is amazing is that her friends, her companions in life, are still acknowledging that she occupies space in their lives. And we do. We don't stop loving someone just because they died. So it's not weird. It's not odd, it's not strange or sick or anything else that they want to continue this relationship, and we continue our relationships. If it's not comforting to you, then contact Facebook and ask them to take it down. You can't take it down, but someone else can. But if you decide to take it down, put on Facebook, thank you so much for sharing her with us. And we're going to close the site now. You will be surprised how many people send you quick a message and say, please don't do that.
Or
Please
maybe
don't
get a message to you before
right.
you do close it down. And you might give them another Facebook, you know, if you want your Facebook. If you have any thoughts about her that you want to share, please get a hold of me at this Facebook.
I think it's kind of nice to know that our children and our loved ones made such an impact on other people. And that warms my heart.
Yes, I agree. That's what I was thinking. What an amazing tribute to Emily. It's Emily, right? All her friends are still texting her and on Facebook and saying, Emily, you know what? Although you're not here, you're never forgotten. You live forever in our hearts. I mean, wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So anybody else got another question for us? There's one right here, Heidi.
Yes. Hi.
I'm sorry, your
name?
name?
Want to stand up,
My
please?
name is,
Can you stand up?
My name is Mirit. I lost my son 5 years ago. His name is Shaul Malach. It's an Hebrew name. He was 2 weeks when he died. And I find it hard to know how would it be in the holidays, like how we would react. And I have now no memories. And whenever I see a pregnant woman, it's hard for me to deal with the lack of memories at the holidays and in his birthdays. How do I deal with the lack of knowing what he would be?
That's a hard one.
That's
a hard one. Big A wasn't very old when he died either. And I used to be very jealous, to use your word. Used to be very jealous of people who had 20 years of memories. And I'm looking at 18 months worth. But I had those memories. You had those memories. 2 weeks? 2 weeks of memories. Think of all the hopes and dreams that you carried while you were pregnant with him. Those are our memories. All the dreams that you wanted, all the things that you wanted him to be, that you thought that he was going to be. Was he going to be a musician? Was he going to be a baseball player? Those are the memories that you and I have, that we carried that love with us. And it doesn't matter how long someone lived. It matters that they lived, and that you and I could carry that love and that joy with us. So hold on to what you got. And it wasn't long enough. I will promise you it wasn't long enough. You wanted more, I wanted more, you wanted more. If you were married 40 years, you wanted 41. If they were 2 weeks old, we wanted 3 weeks. But don't ever forget it was something. Even if it was just a little while, say thanks for that little while.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That is a tough one. And I want to say that also that, you know, 5 years is not a long time.
No.
I hate to say that. You know, I hate to tell you, it is not a long time. It's a journey. It's a process, and it's tough. And the fact that you're able to come here and talk about it and feel about it is a joy.
Absolutely.
because there's so many people that are out there, and they're encouraged to block these feelings, Darcie, and to not share them, and to not go to compassionate friends or to go to some group, and to not talk about it. And
people don't know what to say to us.
Yeah.
They're afraid to say the name. They're afraid to mention it because we'll cry.
Right.
So you put the name out there. Always put the name out there. Call their name.
Whenever I have the TCF meeting, I buy present for everybody on his birthday.
I love that.
That's what I wanted to do, and I'm doing that since I'm there every year.
That's wonderful. So you buy everybody a present on his birthday at the Compassionate Friends, your support group. Well,
That's a great ritual.
That's awesome. And I want to say, you said you don't have too many memories. You probably even have more memories than you know. And I can tell you, it has been so many years since Scott died in Big A, and we have tons of memories. You have them. They just, you remember them because grief doesn't get in the way.
That's what you put in your blessing box. And when you forget, open it up and read those sheets of paper. Grief is a thief, and grief steals not only our loved one, but takes away all our memories, all our hopes, all our energy. A blessing box will remind us that it was something. It was something.
And so wonderful that you're here paying tribute to him today. So amazing, and letting people know he lived, and he will always be a big presence in my life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for those questions, and thanks for the comments. And it's just been wonderful to have you on the show today, Darcie.
Oh, thanks for letting me be
Thanks,
here. My
Darcie.
pleasure. My pleasure.
You are so great. It's been fantastic. Well, Heidi, I thought maybe that we might, the next segment is going to be with the people from Filoli, the mansion in Menlo Park. And the reason that we wanted to have this segment of the show on for you folks out there is because we want to show you some of the things that you can do to remember your loved ones, and some of the things that have been done. And with the music, Heidi, and designing things and creating things and talking about it and remembering names and all that, it's just an amazing thing. So why don't we see some pictures of Filoli right now?
Okay.
And then we will talk to Judy and Margaret about the things that they're doing at the mansion.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Good.
Okay. Well, Judy and Margaret, it's so great to have you two here today to talk to us about Filoli. I'm excited about it. And Margaret, do you want to talk? Judy is going to talk a little bit about Filoli for us.
Thank you. Thank you, doctors, for having us here. My name's Judy Gaffney. I'm chair this year of Holiday Traditions. Filoli is just about 25 miles south of San Francisco. It's a beautiful property. It's 640 acres. The mansion is 39,000 square feet, and formal garden that's 16 acres, so it's just a nice
I think
place
it's the house
to go.
that was on Dynasty on
That's
TV, right?
Wow.
So people have seen Dynasty. That's the house they show.
Right. Quite a few movies have been made there, and there are photo shoots that come
Now
up.
tell us why it's named that.
Okay.
I think it's so interesting.
It is an interesting name. The motto is fight, love, live. So they took an acronym and made the first, or the man, William Bournes, who built that mansion. It was his motto was fight, love, live, which stood for fight for a good cause, love your fellow men, and live a good life.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't introduce Margaret.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Margaret Ong, and I'm co-chair of Holiday Traditions.
Great. You want to show us some of the things that you're doing, Margaret?
Yeah, maybe introduce Holiday Traditions because it's been in the Bay Area for quite a few years. And what happens is we take all the collections out of the mansion, and the first floor creates a beautiful showcase shopping center, basically.
Wow.
Each room is themed. And we brought ornaments today to show, just to kind of show the different things that we have to offer, and for people in the audience as a place that's very festive.
Right.
So each room is themed, and you can go and buy this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very
Yes,
good.
major
Very
shopping.
Wow.
All right, but you've got some good tips too that Heidi are going to bring up about some of the things that these crafty people out there might want to be making too for their loved ones.
Yeah.
Right. A big popular items are made by volunteers, and this is an example of a frame.
Oh, I love that.
It's just a basic frame that you can get anywhere, and what we do is use materials from the estate, and pine cone branches, for example, moss bark. So all that is available,
So
and
you
they're very
buy the
popular.
frame and then you glue on.
Right. Just
stuff.
like a nice craft project for a family.
I love that. And you could do things from around your house or
Yeah.
yard. Or
And it really transforms a frame.
Yeah.
And then putting Scott's picture in there, somebody's picture in there that you
absolutely.
love.
Your loved ones and decorating it for
We also
Christmas.
have
I love
the
that.
traditional ornaments, much of what you see on the tray, but this is an example of a picture frame, and it's available.
So picture frames are great,
Right.
hanging on
I
trees.
love putting people that we've lost, that we love and are no longer here, in frames and hanging them on a tree.
Of course, Heidi, what would you say about that? You've got to have some of the other kids too, right?
Yes, I would. Yes. I always say have as many things of the surviving children there that you do of the person the child that has died, because kids do count. And they're like, why is my brother getting 20 things in the house and I only have one of me, you know? So, yes, make sure that there's an even number.
Other examples, well, we have a big woodsy theme.
I love that.
Oh, I love that.
That is
Owls.
Owls, a lot of owls, squirrels.
And squirrels on your trees,
Right.
and really wonderful
I think
items.
next to you we have examples of some of the themed rooms. We have a child's area.
Now, I like this, Heidi.
That's cute.
Child's hat. She said I couldn't put it on
No,
her,
I said,
so
don't
what
put it
can I
on
say?
me. I want to continue to have a decent hair day.
But I'm thinking somebody could knit something like
really
that
cute.
up, and then you know what they could do with it? If they had a child and you're a knitter, you could knit something like this and do exactly what Darcie said. Wrap it up beautifully. I mean, what would be better than a homemade gift to
Yes.
wrap up like Darcie said,
I agree.
and put it together and give it away to somebody who you loved? Fabulous.
This is a table runner, and as you can see, it's neckties.
I love this. We were talking about this earlier. It goes all the way across,
Right.
and it's got neckties on the ends and buttons.
And we were saying earlier, you know, if you had, for example, a father that died, you could get his neckties and create something like this as a tribute to him and to remember him during the holidays.
And they've written things in here, happy holidays and all that, but you could get a black marker and get that kind of material and write stuff in
Get
too.
festive holiday Sharpies in green and red, and write great
Right.
positive memories of those that we have loved that are no longer with us.
And you can
this
even use
season.
paper, you know how you do it. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant and they give you crayons to write on the table or something, write your menu, you could just have it done across there. It'd be fabulous. And I love this tie idea. It's really kind of an amazing thing.
And then behind you,
right.
you know, we're talking about themes, and this year the big theme is our gnome. So
Oh,
this is
gnomes. I love gnomes.
One of the gnomes.
Oh, this is a gnome?
It is a gnome.
It is.
I thought it was Santa. That's
No, it's
cute.
a
I like that.
We have candles of all sorts, and matching our theme, a woodsy theme, we have a
Woodsy
pine cone
theme.
candle.
Wonderful. Now, you know what this reminds me of, Heidi?
What?
We talk sometimes about having a table at your house.
A memory table.
A memory table
Yep.
during the holidays,
Yep.
and putting things on the memory tables. And I love the idea of candles. They're always great. And having a memory table where you could have things that remind you of your loved one, like a
Yes.
gnome or whatever, or Christmas time.
All
or,
sorts of these
you
things,
know,
and their
sitting around.
favorite foods and different candles, and yes, I agree.
Yeah. And then
All
you can
sorts-
also have a big, like a bowl where you have people write happy memories about the person and put it in the bowl, and some festive looking, and then you bring it out during the Christmas dinner
Yep.
and let people draw and, draw
read
a
them.
piece out and read them and talk about it. So lots of great things that you can do while you're doing that. So tell us about when the mansion's open. And, I was saying to you guys, this is in the San Francisco area. People, everybody in the world should be coming in and seeing the
It's
house.
going to be a vacation destination, and I had no idea, I'm going to be honest with you guys, that you existed until I found out you were going to come on the show.
Oh, wow.
So it's exciting that it's here.
Yes.
And that people can come and see it and see all these fabulous ideas for gifts. And
It starts, the holiday tradition starts November 23rd and runs the day after Thanksgiving, runs all the way through 9 days through Saturday, September 1st. There's lunches to attend. There's 35 different ticketed events.
Wow, that's
within
amazing.
this major
I'm
event.
gonna get some right after the show. I'll be checking out. Well, tell us about your candy thing and all that. We were talking about that.
Yeah, we brought food too because besides, like we said, like the pantry is filled with all chocolates and candies. The kitchen has chef items and food things. So there's just about everything, and you could basically check off your whole list.
So that really gets us into the food thing, Heidi, during the holidays too. We might think about that, you know, making people's favorite dishes, having people bring dishes that remind you of their loved ones.
Yes,
there are
I
all
love that
sorts of
idea,
things you can.
because food is such an important part of our connection with those people that we are no longer in our lives.
Absolutely.
So making their favorite dishes is a great way to pay tribute and honor them.
Or realizing it's going to be tough when you don't make them, or you know, or when you have to go shopping during the holidays and you've lost some family members, so you don't buy some of the stuff that they like. You know, those can sneak up and bite you.
Absolutely, it can be a very tough time.
Yeah,
but I love that we're talking about how to honor the memory,
right,
and keep it alive,
right,
and not bury it, because we all know that Scott and all those people out there that have died are so in our lives. And so to give that a voice and do all these rituals around it, I love it.
Great spirit. Yeah. So Filoli's open in the summer too, right?
Yes.
And don't you have huge gardens?
Yes. We open February through October. So it's 2013, it opens February 3rd. So we close to get ready for holiday traditions, but if you have tickets for holiday traditions, obviously you get in this time of year. But it's wonderful. It's just a tranquil place to go. The gardens, it's fun to watch the different seasons in the garden and how things change so much. And
I think gardens are really important because I know a lot of people get a lot of solace by digging in the earth and, you know, working with the gardens.
And planting things.
And planting things. And
in people's memories.
Yeah. And one of the things that can be great during the holidays is to get a potted tree. Somebody was telling me recently about getting a potted tree, and the family had it out there and they decorated it in memory of their loved one, and then when the holiday season was over, they went out and did a ritual and you know, buried, you know, put the tree in the yard in memory of that person.
And another favorite ritual of mine real quickly is a wreath, decorating a wreath.
Oh yeah.
Like pretend I had to decorate a wreath for Scott to celebrate the holidays. I would put a Twix bar and a Jets, you know, something from the New York Jets, everything that he loves.
Right.
Okay, it looks like we need to wrap up.
Okay, all right.
And go to our singers.
All right.
And we so appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys. You can stay here. We're going to have our singers move back here, and we're going to have our singers going to be coming out to do the show. Come on out, girls. And we're going to have another song, and we want to thank everybody for being on the show today and for being in our audience. And thank you, girls. You've been absolutely phenomenal, and we really appreciate your being here, and all of our guests, and thank you for being our audience. Let's give our salsa all a hand before we close the show, and we're going to close the show with the song by the girls. Thank you.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fire. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty bright time. It's the right time to rock the night out day. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle in a jingling beat. That's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell. Da 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 da. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bell ring. Snowing and blowing bushels of fire. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty bright time. It's the right time to rock the night out day. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go riding in a one-horse horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, take up your feet. Jingle around the da-da-da. Mix and mingle and a jingling beat. That's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell.
This has been the Open to Hope show with hosts mother-daughter team, Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi Horsley. This show has been brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation with a mission of helping people find hope after loss. Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi invite you to visit them at opentohope.com, where you can listen to radio shows, watch Open to Hope television, read articles, and view books. Also, join them on Twitter and Facebook and put your events on their international calendar. Thanks for watching, and remember, others have been there and made it. You can too.